Podcast recorded live in Banff. Today, we're taking you through 50 years of mountain culture rising from the heart of Banff. As dawn breaks across these snowy peaks, the Banff Centre awakens once more. A place where artists, explorers, filmmakers, and dreamers have gathered for half a century to chase the edges of the world. This is the Overheard Podcast best of coverage of the Banff Centre Mountain Film and Book Festival's 50th anniversary, where the mountain's greatest stories truly come to life. All right, welcome back to the Overheard Podcast, recorded live in Banff. My name is Daniel Rudel. With me always,
we got Matty Rage. Let's go.
Let's go, dude. 100 episodes.
No doubt, dude. It's
bam.
Came up fast, didn't it?
Dude, we've been crushing them.
No doubt.
There's been, it jumped quick with the election, and then now with the Banff Centre Mountain Film and Book Festival. We did a whole bunch of interviews, so we got plenty of content out there. If you haven't checked them out yet, make sure you go and check them out. If it is your first time tuning in, please don't forget to give us a little like and subscribe. And welcome to our best of episode, highlighting kind of our best moments of the week. We got clips from interviews. We're going to take you through all the winners of the awards. It was pretty incredible. 50th anniversary, 9 days, 87 films. There was free talks. There was a bunch of expos. There was markets, the Fire and Ice Symposium. It was an incredible time. We got to attend a ton of stuff.
Very, very cool week, man. We both had a blast up there. It was some long days, but man, it was awesome.
So worth it. Big thanks to Banff Centre for having us. Big thanks to everyone that we chatted with. Took the time to meet us and share their insights. It was a pretty incredible week.
We brushed elbows with some pretty top tier, very humble but very top tier personalities and artists and writers and anything in between, I guess, really.
Of course. And we got to give a big thanks from the bottom of our heart. We couldn't have this show without, people talking to us. So thank you so much from us at the Overheard Podcast. If you're interested and you like kind of what we highlighted in our show today, the 2026 Chomolunga passes are now available. And you buy those in advance, Matt, and those will give you like full access to all the events, all the talks. Pretty much, it's like a VIP experience.
Yeah, you can just roll into any event you want, flash your badge, bingo bango, and you're in, right? So
lots of great stuff from them. Let's jump right into it. We have our first clip. It was from our episode that we did before the festival started with festival director Joanna Croston.
Absolute legend, by the way.
Absolute legend. So tied into the community. When you go up there, honestly, there's this, this perception that Banff Centre is its own thing, but it is so interwoven into the fabric of Banff. Sure. Jo being a big part of that. She was releasing a book that we're going to talk about in a little bit. We caught up with her, I think it was a week before the festival.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
That episode itself was a bit of a, started kind of on a hectic foot.
Yeah, we had a Banff-wide power outage as we were setting up for the podcast, but we ended up making it work.
Absolutely. So we ended up coming up with a secondary venue. We got to give a big shout out to the Grizzly House for giving us a hand. They happen to have power going on where nowhere else did, so it was amazing. Big thank you. Let's roll into the clip with Joanna. We'll be back with you in just a second here. What can we expect this year? What are you most excited for in this 50th year of programming?
Yeah, so we, we're the festival's 9 days long, so there's lots to take in.
Lots.
I'm obviously pretty partial to the book programs, being an author, but there's tons of great films. Obviously, we're at 80 films online and 87 films in person, and so there's a lot, and it's kind of impossible to actually watch everything. So. But there's some really great feature films I would recommend. One's called The Track. The other one's called Iron Winter. A bunch of our shows are already sold out, so I'm not going to plug those. But But you can actually catch. So Radical Reels is our big locals program. It's high adrenaline sports, action sports, and snow show, of course, because people are getting into the psych of the season. So those two programs sell pretty quickly for us. But we still have simulcast presentations of those that you can buy tickets for.
Absolutely,
So,
which is like being there, basically, but watching in another room. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's fantastic. I kind of attended mostly simulcast last year, and it was a great time.
Yeah, it's super fun. It's a good crowd. We've also got a couple of special anniversary things on the go this year.
Oh boy, did they have some special anniversary stuff on the go. It was by far the biggest festival ever.
Oh, for sure.
As far as the attendance, the amount of events that they had going on, it was truly spectacular.
We literally couldn't make them all. We were either in interviews or there were like just multiple events. Like it's literally like going to a festival. You have to like kind of scope out what you want to see and when you want to see it.
It does take some strategy for sure. We did miss a couple of events that we wanted to get to, but the ones that we did were all fantastic. One of the talks that we did go to was one put on by Joanna with a few of the mountaineering women that were featured in her book.
Oh, dude, it was just crazy to see. I guess the top tier, like these top tier athletes that are doing these insane feats of just whatever sport they're in, just so humble, and they just it's like they don't. I think someone said it best. They're like, you don't really think about it while you're climbing. You just it's like not until after that you realize like, holy, like I just did this. I just set down a new route that has never been done before. It's like it doesn't even really cross their mind. Everybody was so humble about it.
And I think imposter syndrome was also a very...
Oh, that was a question from the crowd.
Yeah, like imposter syndrome was a very big topic brought up, especially during that conversation itself. And I find it strange that even the top mountaineering women in the world still face the same kind of mental struggle that we do in our day-to-day lives. You know?
It's crazy. It's like, and these are people that just had the absolute top of their field, right? And it's just crazy to see how humble and down to earth everybody was.
Humbleness definitely reigns in any of the stories, I feel, when it comes to mountaineering. It's a certain breed of person, I feel, right? Like
you gotta, I don't know, being a mountaineer is just like some of these climbers are just in a league of all of their own, right? It's just it's a whole little community that just you can tell is super tight, and that's just cool to see.
I think it's maybe experiencing those highs and lows, both kind of metaphorically and
fair
in reality together, that makes them who they are, right? One thing that struck out to me, especially about that talk itself, was the amount of people. Like we almost didn't get in. It was standing room only.
Yeah. It was wild. And we had press passes, and they were like, wild. Okay, guys, we got like a couple left. Like, get these guys in.
Please get in. Yeah, so big thanks for getting us in.
We had somebody like usher us in. They're like, guys, get in there, get in there.
Yeah. And very, very glad we got that one in for sure.
No doubt.
Let's move into some of the awards and winners section. This year, the caliber of work was off the charts. Some very deserving winners took home some very big prizes. So we have a breakdown of the winners from this year's festival. One of the films mentioned in Joanna's clip, Iron Winter, won the grand prize. I saw this film. It is breathtaking in its cinematography, the landscape. So a little bit about the film. It takes place in Mongolia in the Takir Valley. 18-year-old Bathold and his friend, I'm sorry if I'm saying this wrong, Sagana, are tasked with protecting a herd of 3,000 horses during the deadliest winter on record. Now, deadly winters for them is obviously brutal cold.
Oh, it's insane.
Iron winter, right? Their community's survival hinges on the persevering of ancient traditions in the face of extreme climate changes, which also has an aspect of encroaching modern way of life. Because the herding lifestyle is like
very traditional,
They're living in yurts, right? So they're taking the whole horses from all their community into alpine meadows so that they can graze, because there isn't enough good grazing grounds around, I guess, where the city is.
Right.
Incredible. Even at the end, one of the main, I think it's Bathold, he transitions almost out of the herding lifestyle, and you see him kind of the ending sequences. I don't want to give away too many spoilers, but he's exploring different options for work in the city and like the transition from the traditional way of life into a modern way of life, which is rapidly growing there, is a crazy contrast. So huge congratulations for winning the grand prize of the festival. Amazing film. Definitely worth checking out if you can get it outside. I definitely would recommend checking it out. I couldn't imagine spending the winter herding horses and dealing with the loss. Like, it's unfortunately it happens. I mean, how do you keep these animals protected? It's pretty insane.
No doubt. I didn't get to see the film, but the clips that I did see were just wild. I was like, dude, it's very cool to see that so close to modern life. There's also this just completely separate traditional view and culture that's still thriving, right? Like,
and it's pretty insane. I mean, I don't want to say it's insane, but it's wild to see that they are able to survive out there, and that these ancient techniques still reign true today, even in the most brutal weather conditions.
Right.
And it does touch on climate change as well, which obviously we usually think about the opposite side of climate change when we talk about global warming. Them experiencing a brutal winter, kind of bringing that ice dynamic to the fire and ice theme of this year,
right?
Which again is an often underthought of part of climate change, right? So pretty interesting stuff. Moving on, the best film for adventure, film Underland won that one. And from the soil beneath an ash tree to underwater labs, 3 astronauts of the underworld voyage into hidden domains of earth and ice. Adapted from a best-selling book, this film blurs lines between science, human curiosity, and geological time. Big congratulations, an incredible film. Moving on, the next best film for environment was A Life Illuminated, so another marine film. Marine biologist Dr. Eddie Witter descends 3,300 feet into the ocean's darkest depths to capture bioluminescence phenomena that could alter our understanding of life. I know myself personally, when I'm watching nature films, bioluminescence and the deep water stuff is always crazy. This documentary blends science with awe and pushes the frontier of environmental storytelling, obviously, which is a huge undertone of every single film presented this year was environment, of course.
It's taken quite a forefront, especially in the whole mountain community, right? Like, I guess we see it kind of firsthand season to season. Like, even out here, we see it season to season, just
big time, between
wildfires and lack of snow for the last couple of years that we've seen on the ski hills. It's it always seems I mean, when you're in the mountaineering or in the mountain lifestyle, you're in nature. You're going to witness one side or the other, right?
For sure.
It pretty much tied into almost everything that happened up there this year. Was great.
One cool connection that I never thought of before was how wildfires actually impacts global warming in the sense of ash falling onto glacier caps, which then it makes it darker. It attracts more sunlight, and then
they're melting faster.
Exactly.
Wild.
And also the rate at which glaciers are disappearing. This old ice, I think it was, especially with the James Balog stuff that we'll talk about in a bit, his studies on receding ice it's exponential.
Yeah.
And honestly, his main point was keeping a positive, I think was his main point. Him and Wade's main point was like keeping a positive outlook through this climate change topic, and tough to do sometimes,
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to be jaded about it, but you've got to have optimism for the future, right? Like
100%.
If you look at everything super negatively, nothing's going to change, right? So
absolutely. Anyways, back to these films here. The best film for mountain sports was a film Best Day Ever.
This was a cool one.
Super cool one. I referenced this one in our last week's episode 99. go check it out if this topic interests you, because honestly, that was a great conversation as well. This film, Best Day Ever, is about adaptive mountain bikers Greg Durso and Ali Bianchi as they ride through rural Vermont facing disability, challenge, community, support, and joy. Film equal parts celebrating grit, freedom. This film took me through a range of emotions, honestly, tearing up. I saw it presented at the film fest. There was not a dry eye in the theater. I think it hit me more watching it a second time at home. This film will make you laugh, cry. It'll make you have awe all in one sitting. Super inspiring and just like humanizing to the point of accepting people with disabilities and the fact that small changes in our lives that will not affect able-bodied people could greatly benefit the disabled community, whatever that may be, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So basically, the whole premise of this film is these two cyclists that got injured were now switching to adaptive mountain bikes, but they found that none of the trails were actually able to be ridden on adaptive mountain
Just not
bikes.
wide enough, or
Not wide enough. Again, the bridges, mainly it's not wide enough. Turn radius and that kind of stuff.
I guess features as well, right? Like,
and like these new adaptive bikes, like no matter the disability, no matter the body, there's kind of a way to get them out there. And then adapting the trails slightly, which doesn't disconvenience a normal rider.
right.
But a main focus of that was bringing those two communities together. So normally you would have adaptive trails and you would have your normal mountain bike trail system.
Right.
And the whole point is bringing them together and making it more inclusive for everyone to hang out. Like whether you're on an adaptive bike, whether you're on a able-bodied bike, I don't know. I'm getting taken back talking about it right now. Super incredible film. And the stars, Greg and Ali, incredible people. Like their attitudes towards life, so amazing. I think anyone can take a page out of their book. So definitely recommend checking that one out. The next film, best film for mountain culture, was The Track, another film that was recommended by Joanna. In post-war Bosnia, 3 teenage friends train on a dilapidated Olympic luge track left over from Sarajevo 1984 Winter Games.
Yeah, no doubt.
So definitely some old infrastructure. They chase the improbable dream in the shadows of conflict, poverty, and national identity. A resilient story through hope and sport.
It reminds me of I don't know if you've seen it. Famous '90s movie, Cool Runnings.
Of course, Cool Runnings. There's not a lot of kind of that luge or bobsled adaptation into film. Like I think that's very rare. But this one, I think, specifically highlighting that sport kind of can keep people together through any type of adversity, I think was really, really resonant in that one for me. The next film, best film for climbing, Old Man Lightning. This was a pretty cool film. What starts as a climbing film soonly becomes a deeply human story about obsession, aging, and legacy. Maybe a lot of Pilsners. Funny, tragic, and unexpected, this film turns climbing into a meditation on time and meaning. I did get to see this one. Pretty cool mixture on a climbing film, because climbing films obviously tend to focus on either a crazy endeavor or a tragedy that happens. And the star of this film, first of all, a total character, an old climber that's kind of trying to revisit a route that he had once conquered.
Okay.
But he had fallen into like photography and filmmaking, and he became kind of a booze hound, like in a good way, not in like the way I used to do it. But the whole point is him kind of putting those beers down and getting back into a climbing shape, and his mental struggle with aging and climbing, but still doing the things that he loves. A very funny, heartwarming film. That one kind of left me with a very positive outlook. So super cool.
Well, we also had books at the
Tons of
festival.
books,
Tons of
yes.
cool books.
We had an inside track on a lot of the book stuff, which was awesome. It was cool to focus on that because the films obviously get
Right.
a lot of love out of the gate. The authors, though, very, very cool as well. Yeah, we got to spend a lot of time with them.
We got a chance to sit down with a few of them, including the grand prize and John White Award winner, 30 Below, the harrowing and heroic story of the first all-women's ascent of Denali by Cassidy Randall, and she's a legend.
Yeah, super cool.
So nice.
So nice. So let's cut to her clip, and we'll be back with you to talk about it in a little bit. What do you hope readers take away from your book after reading it, men or women?
A lot of what we have talked about at this festival and some of what I talk about in my book talk and just some of the backdrop of the book in general is a gender lens, because that's what these women were up against at the time, right? Like they were trying to climb a mountain. And let's just back up to the context here that, I mean, this was the first all-women's ascent of any of the world's high peaks. We had sent men to the moon.
Yeah, good point.
And women hadn't stood on the highest points on Earth yet, which is insane. And so a lot of there's just a gender lens there. But I think there's this mythology in our culture that books about women, and particularly books about women that are written by a woman, are only for women.
Right.
And I got to be on a panel with Cheryl Strayed when I was at Mountain Film, who wrote Wild, right? And she was talking about this phenomenon and how, I mean, Wild was an international bestseller. Like, it was a rocket ship. And on the tour for it, she told one episode, and she said this was so indicative of the entire tour, where she went on a radio show, and before they were live on the air, the male radio host said, "You have written just an incredible book. I really needed to read it. It was so resonant with me." And he got on the air and said, "I'm here with Cheryl Strayed, who has written an incredible book for women."
Oh my God.
And so what I want this book to be known for is not that it is a book about women for women. Mm-hmm. Not even that it's a book about women. Like, I don't want it to be known for that. I want the takeaway to be, this is a damn good adventure story, period.
Wild stuff, eh?
Man, she had some good points. She
very good points.
She knows her stuff, and I think what was one of the questions we asked her was, how much of your real life like experience or opinion did you put into the book? Mm-hmm. She's like, pretty much none. Yeah. It was all research, right? Like it was like obviously she sat down with the women that were still alive that completed the climb, but yeah, she's like, it's not about me, right? Like it was very cool to see that aspect of it's just like kind of removing yourself completely from the situation, just writing about other people.
For sure. And she gave us tons of insights on kind of how that process works when it comes to taking a story, whether it be historical or something that's happening in the present moment, and turning that into something that's kind of digestible in a book format. Right. Very, very cool lady. Very awesome. Again, like women in climbing was kind of one of the undertones as well.
Right.
As well as global warming and climate change.
Well, when these women climbed that peak, that was the first. Like that was back when there weren't a lot of women climbing or mountain sports or
they were
mountaineering.
Heavily discriminated against for doing so.
Well, what was she saying? They get the men's expedition got like $1 million or something in funding, and the women's expedition got like 10 grand or something.
Not a lot.
It was
still
like,
made it.
Yeah,
so.
it was. It's wild, just like how far everything's come since then. Mm-hmm. And we even saw it in Joe's panel with her book. Like it was super young climbers versus like with a range of people that had just been doing it for years and years, right?
And it's something I think that we have to definitely mention, that it's a shame that these stories are only getting the highlight that they deserve now.
Right.
Like
30. How long ago was that? That was
long time ago.
That the late 70s, I believe.
I'd have to look it up. I don't have my notes here.
I know.
But yeah, it was definitely. It's an amazing thing to be talking about now, but definitely way too late. And I think that's something where we can definitely do better as a community in a whole.
No doubt.
The reluctancy of women to share their exploits was pretty pretty wild. If you're gonna get flack for it, like we're gonna talk about Lydia later. A lot of women first in mountaineering, a lot of men at the time couldn't really handle that.
Well, back in the day,
Yeah, obviously. A lot of butthurt dudes back then. So that's not very cool at all. Moving on, Environmental Literature Award was won by Craig Childs with his book The Wild Dark, Finding the Night Sky in the Age of Light. And we actually got to sit down with Craig as well.
He's awesome.
Yeah, cool dude, man. Very kind of jolly man. You can tell his love of life and his love of adventure shines through in the way that he speaks.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, very cool.
Very genuine, kind soul. Let's cut to his clip right now. This festival has a way of bringing tons of incredible people together, kind of like we touched on earlier. How does it feel to see your work celebrated in such an incredible community?
Oh, it's sweet. This festival in particular, partly because I've written here so much. Right. I've come up here to do research. I've spent a lot of time in the library here, and it's nice to have this venue open up.
For sure.
So to have a place where I can come and tell a story and to have it recognized here is just it's odd because usually I'm in the field, I'm writing, I'm on the ground, and I don't think that much about this world. And I get here and go, you read my stuff. Oh, that's nice. Nice to hear.
It's got to be quite eye-opening for you, for sure. I mean, especially seeing both sides of Banff Centre, maybe the quieter side of, say, the Leighton Studios, where you spent some time writing, to now being on center stage. And like you mentioned in your acceptance speech, it's not really where you spend most of your time around so many people.
Yeah, but it's good because it reminds me of why I'm doing this. It's not because I think that this is about on the ground. It's about, it's what I'm doing. It's what's right in front of me. And then I come out here and go, I'm actually communicating to human beings. And I need to remember that and to meet them, to go, you're real, and you have a relationship with what I'm writing.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm working for you. This is
100%.
My job is to give you this story, and so it's a good reminder.
We had an incredible conversation with Craig. His book highlights his journey from the lights of Las Vegas into some of the
darkest skies, least light polluted skies, anywhere in North America, I guess.
And what he does is he actually goes on these adventures and kind of takes notes and scribbles and writes the whole time, and then goes and compiles these books. So it was so cool to sit down with someone, that kind of lives the adventures.
Yeah, no doubt.
And then goes to write about it, but also someone that spent time developing their project at the Leighton Studios.
Right. I remember he was saying it's pretty cool that he got to go out and do this dark sky adventure, and then to sit in the Leighton Studios with the skylights and just kind of look up and see the stars while he was writing. He said it was a pretty cool tie-in, just in the whole process of how he works, right?
Absolutely. We've actually had the chance to do an interview in one of the Leighton Studios
Very
with
cool
the
spot.
CEO of Banff Centre, Chris Lorway. If you haven't checked that episode out, please go do so. They have a bunch, the Leighton Studios is a gathering of a bunch of different studios that they offer to artists that are doing residencies, but they have a bunch of different styles of them, and they're kind of suited for different projects.
Right. We were in one of the music studios. It was more, set up keyboard, speakers, monitors, and everything. It was really cool. But yeah, they're all their own little niche
but it
market.
Also had a beautiful patio kind of facing away from the main walkway,
right? Which is awesome.
So
you're just out in the middle of nature, really. You don't really see anybody else. You could go up there and get a lot of work done on your own without kind of having any interruption, right?
Yeah, they're kind of these cool, well thought out spaces that really encourage the creative mind. And yeah, it was super awesome to sit down and talk with Craig about his process and his experience, right? Moving on, Adventure Travel Award, Into the Thaw, won that award. Witnessing Wonder Amid the Arctic Climate Crisis. That was a book written by John Waterman. He also did a big symposium, I think during the Fire and Ice Symposium, which unfortunately we did not get to attend. But I heard great things about it, and I actually was looking at his book in the marketplace. Definitely worth picking up. So if you ever see it on the newsstand, don't be shy to grab it. The Mountain Image Award went to a book named Eden, A Portrait of Mountain Biking in Etoria, New Zealand. Sorry if I'm saying that wrong, by Nick Stevenson. It's more of a photography book of writing and placemaking in the New Zealand mountains. Visually stunning, absolutely amazing. Make sure you go get your copy now. Our next clip, we actually got to meet up with a local legend that I've been wanting to meet for a long time.
No doubt. I think literally everybody in the Valley at one point has seen some of this one's art, or I guess photography.
Absolutely.
As it's just legendary. It's everywhere. It's
so we got to sit down with Paul Ziska.
Yeah.
And you know what they say, don't meet your idols. But in this case, I'm very glad I did. Paul was super nice, super humble.
no doubt.
I actually kind of cold messaged his Instagram like when we started this project, like
Right.
maybe a couple weeks in. So this was kind of a very cool moment for us to finally get to sit down with him and just pick a local's brain on what the festival means to us, you know?
No doubt. No
Let's,
doubt.
let's cut to the clip.
I mean, one thing that makes it so special is I can just walk up the hill and I'm there.
No doubt.
And so, the proximity is so great. I feel like half the planet is coming to our backyard for those 9 days to share stories, and we barely have to lift the finger to be part of it, which is pretty special. Not many people can claim that. Also love, just like I'm looking out there this morning, this setting.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you have adventure / mountain or film festivals that can also be great, but they're held, say, in the heart of a big city somewhere.
Yeah, not the same feel.
Different feeling than
Yeah.
having that just epic backdrop every direction that you look. So I think that makes it extra special as well.
For sure. When we started this project, one of the things that we quickly realized is that tons of amazing people will be coming to us during this festival.
Yeah.
So what a perfect opportunity to get together and talk about what we love, which is environment, of course, the nature, the outdoors, Banff itself, and this festival being the highlight for film and books relating to all outdoor sports. So if you haven't been up here, definitely get into it. The 50th anniversary theme is Fire and Ice, the stories we tell. How does that resonate with you as someone who captures both extremes kind of in the mountain landscape?
It resonates very strongly with me. I've always had an affinity for cold places, subjects like snow and ice and glaciers.
What can we say about Paul Ziska, man?
He's awesome, dude. He was
Yeah.
so down to earth and chill.
So cool.
I mean, just his take on the whole festival, and like you said, just having the backdrop, right? Like it's not the same if you're, downtown Toronto and you've got these events going on. It's like out here, you're in the middle of the culture itself, right? So
I think it just kind of hits you harder, the messaging when it comes to either environmental,
Right.
when you bust out the theater doors and then you see where you are in Banff. I think it amplifies that message, I think.
oh, for sure. I mean, especially with Fire and Ice and it being, well, it had just kind of started snowing that week.
yeah.
So we had a little bit of snow.
Mhm.
We didn't have any forest fires this year, thank God.
Thankfully.
But we are in that environment, right? So
Mhm.
what better place to share that sentiment than out here?
Absolutely. Actually, after our conversation with Paul, I went down to the marketplace, which was phenomenal too. We
Oh.
did a bunch of great interviews there as well. They're all
Sure.
out on our Instagram. Big thanks to everyone who we talked to at the marketplace. And I actually picked up one of his books. I think it's called Rediscovering the Canadian Rockies.
Okay.
I've never purchased a photography book before.
Oh, really?
So it was kind of a new genre for me to dip into. It is absolutely amazing quality, like magazine quality prints. And then there's also kind of little blurbs and little write-ups about the prints themselves. So very, very cool coffee table book. It is available locally. So if you want to kind of support local artists, photographers, and also just cool to have, like when you have people come visit, to show them
what's going on out here. Like,
because it's not always evident. Like you don't always get to see the aurora in the way that it's portrayed by Paul, or the wild ice, or again, he has a incredible self-portrait category.
Right.
Yeah, can't thank him enough for taking the time to sit down with us.
Yeah, if you want to check out the full episode, it's up pretty much everywhere. But yeah, just what a wonderful guy.
I would agree. Moving on. We got to chat with a couple of polar explorers while we were at the festival. Børge and Vincent. So, what they do is they go exploring these polar caps. They're exploring the 30 largest polar caps.
20 largest.
20 largest polar caps in the world, and kind of documenting their journeys.
Yep.
But very, very humble conversation. Let's cut to the clip and we'll get back to it in a second here. What do you think the Banff Centre Mountain Film and Book Festival does to kind of help get that message out?
Well, first of all, you're gathering a lot of good people here, and this is is amplifier the right word?
Yeah,
It kind of amplifies things and get it out in the world, and you have the Banff tour. You get all these great films about the outdoors all over the world. So I think it plays an important role, and we're very, happy to be invited to be here and to be a part of the process and be a part of that communication.
Absolutely. The story is an incredible one. I think one that needs to be shared more. I mean, I think if more people had half of the courage that you guys had to stand up for the environment, we might be in a different place that we are today. You guys will be speaking later today, actually, at a symposium, along with some films from the festival. Without giving too much away, what do you hope that the audience takes away from your presentation tonight?
I hope they see and understand the value of exploring these regions, because in the end we think that they are brutal regions, but they are very fragile. Mm-hmm. And as Børge was saying, when the ice melts, on the polar ocean, then you see open ocean. When you see open ocean, it's dark. When it's dark, then it accelerates the melt of ice around even faster. So I hope they will see the importance of crossing these ice caps. It's not just about taking planes, because of course we have a very high CO2 impact when we fly the Earth all in these regions. That we can't deny. Staying in the cave, I'm not sure that's the solution either.
Great stuff from Børge and Vincent.
Those guys are wild. They've been in the North Pole, the South Pole, like solo adventures, which is insane. Like I'm good. I'll go camping, maybe in the winter here in town, but like, no, that's wild. Solo adventures to the pole would be
unsupported as well.
Yeah.
Important distinction to make. Unsupported travel in polar regions means carrying everything that you're going to need, right? Your tent, your food, everything to keep you alive in the most extreme temperatures and landscapes around. One thing that was super cool was because I like to dip in a couple conspiracy theories myself.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah, right. I totally forgot you asked this question.
Yeah, so we actually got to ask them, because, is there aliens at the fucking South Pole? Like, people have all these.
Yeah, is there like an alien base?
Yeah.
Like, we can tell you there's no alien base.
So it was cool I've never been, I think, in the same room with someone who's been to these extreme regions. And their self-awareness too of their own impact going there, I think, is very cool. They're aware that what they do does cause an impact as well on what they're trying to prevent. But
well, it's like Vincent said, it's like you think of these places as just these brutal, cold, just insanely brutal environments, but they're actually very delicate as far as output or human input as far as how the climate is changing there.
Yeah. Very, very cool conversation with those guys. If you haven't checked that episode out, it is out everywhere and available now. Moving on, we got to sit down with James Balog. He explained how his 15 years of chasing ice and 4 years of chasing wildfire created a body of work that was almost like written for this year's symposium, right?
Right.
He had personal impacts to his life from chasing ice and chasing fires, which we talked about in our episode, which are quite heart-wrenching. Big thanks to James for chatting with us and being as open as he was. Let's cut to the clip and we'll be back with you. Considering the theme of this year's festival, fire and ice, it almost feels like a perfect theme for your body of work. What does that juxtaposition mean to you personally?
It's kind of amazing that I met the folks here at Banff. Certainly I was aware of this festival for a long, long time, but I hadn't met Joanna and Megan until relatively recently. And then they told me what the theme was, and I said, "Come on,
Come on,
I spent 4 years chasing wildfires, and I spent 15 years chasing ice, and I've got a lot to show you." So they said, "Okay, you're on belay. Come on up."
James Balog, what can you say? A pioneer of photography, and especially when it comes to ice, documenting the changes in glaciers and our polar caps. One piece that is involved in his ice project specifically is a sequence it was captured by, I think it's the photographer or filmmaker's name is Brian Orlovsky, and we do mention him in our episode. We have to give him his props. They caught a sequence, which you can find on YouTube as well if you Google birthing glaciers. I showed you this clip.
Oh, I remember seeing it back in the day. So this is from 2014, I believe.
Yes.
And it was, so basically they're filming this glacier and it starts calving. And if you don't know what calving is, that's when, you see on National Geographic the big chunks of ice coming off the glacier and into the ocean. Well, this chunk of ice that fell off was the size of Manhattan.
It was the largest event ever captured on film. And of course, we think of glaciers as things that are moving slowly, which is often the case. But in this case, it was 75 minutes of incomprehensible without seeing. It's very hard to put into words, but these skyscraper-sized icebergs are breaking off the ice shelf, shifting into the ocean, and then there's avalanches coming off the sides, which is all cascading into the water. You have waves coming up.
Oh, it's wild.
Truly breathtaking. James Balog on the forefront of environmental research in that regard, and he actually had a great conversation with us, so please go check out that episode. Big thanks to James. His book was wild too. I saw it in the marketplace. If you talk about, it's about the Anthropocene, which if you don't know what that is, about the decline of our natural world. But it was like the size of your torso, like
it was huge.
Massive. Saw tons
very
of people
cool, very
it up.
cool. Very nice prints. Amazing book. If you get a chance to find a copy, highly recommend.
Highly recommend. And again, his outlook too. As someone who's been on the forefront of seeing the negative sides of climate change, I think his outlook and being positive was pretty cool for sure.
No doubt. It seemed to be the kind of common theme, especially with all the climate change that we're seeing. And like I said earlier, it's easy to kind of dwell on the negative aspects of it, but you got to kind of have some hope for the future. Otherwise, it's like, what do you do? Give up? You know what I mean? It's like you got to have some hope and work towards the future. So it was pretty cool to see, people that are experiencing this firsthand, and especially in a clip like that, like you see a glacier the size of Manhattan fall off. It's like, it's hard to kind of even put it in scale. Like when you're watching the video, you just don't kind of get it until they pop up a diagram over top of it. It's like, this is how much of that came off of there. And then it kind of really hits home, but absolute legend. Can't thank him enough for sitting down with us.
Big time. And definitely go check out his work further because it was crazy. Next clip we have is from Wade Davis. Now, this interview was, I had some realizations during the interview.
Oh, right.
Which was that I actually had a first edition of one of Wade's books sitting at my house on the bookshelf, gifted to me by my partner Natalie's father, which I cannot thank enough. Because he brought up the book, The Rainbow and the Serpent, during our conversation. So he gave us one of the more philosophical interviews of the week, I would say. We reflected on his personal life, which again hasn't really been his focus. But we'll cut to the clip. We'll let him tell you. We'll be back.
Presentations based on a recent book, or a recent film or something. But I've gotten to the age where I've finally become somewhat comfortable with talking about my own experience. I've always been. I've never once, for example, I've probably done 2,000 public professional speaking engagements. I've never once shown a photograph of myself in a presentation. There's a point in your life when it is, if you have something to say, you might as well say it about life experiences and lessons, a little bit like our conversation this afternoon. And you kind of have to earn the right to do that. But at this point, I think in a way I have,
I'd say so.
And I think it reflects my notion of retirement. Like I'm formally retired from UBC. Well, I've never really had a job, so it's not. But to me, retirement isn't when you stop doing things, or when you somehow start relaxing more. It's when you realize you've had your moment in life and get off the bloody stage. When you, and I don't mean that in terms of focus on oneself as much as. We have a Kamsa native shaman, a friend of mine, said to me something really wise once when he said, when you're young, you're too young to understand the world around you. And when you're old, you're too old to understand the world coming at you from below, right? And in between, there's a narrow beam of light that illuminates your life. And that's when you decide whether to go blind or not, or to see. And I think you have that narrow window. I've certainly had mine, and I'll continue to write books and continue to do things, but any sense I once had about trying to influence the world or have a voice in the world, that's all gone. My voice, whatever my voice was, whatever my influence might have been, and it's hard to measure. It's never... influence is a very funny thing. Most of what we think to be influence as derived from celebrity culture is ephemeral as the wind,
Wade Davis. What can you say about our conversation with Wade Davis?
Oh man, he had some insane stories. If you want to see the full interview, go check it out. It's up on YouTube.
If you don't know about Wade Davis, Wade Davis was the head anthropologist for National Geographic for over 15 years. He's also an ethnobotanist. The book specifically that I was lent, The Serpent and the Rainbow, dives into his journey going to Haiti in the 80s, early 80s, investigating what they were calling zombie poison. Now, this is a toxin or a poison that was developed with pufferfish venom and a whole bunch of different ingredients that were found in Haiti that with the cultural significance surrounding the administration of this poison and this ritual, induced a type of zombification where the people weren't dead, but they weren't alive, and they were almost in a trance-like state. And that whole book investigates not only the physical
like side effects, I guess.
Side effects or symptoms of this poison and the actual ingredients that go into formula to making it, but also the cultural significance to it and how that adds to its efficacy and how it affects people. Super interesting book. And like Wade said, he has never been the focus of his own research or the focus of his own talks. And let me tell you, the man can talk.
Oh, he's like, yeah, some of the stories he told us was just like, you wouldn't believe it if you weren't sitting there across the table from him and
Yes.
someone was telling you about it, you'd be like, there's no way.
Yeah.
Like, it's just absolutely wild.
Incredible. I actually went back to see his speaking event later that day, and yeah, I do not don't regret it for sure. It was incredible. So big thanks to Wade for sitting down and chatting to us. If you didn't check out that episode, please do. Incredible that you can be surrounded by these people at Banff Centre, especially at the Banff Centre
Right.
Mountain Film and Book Festival. Like, you can go and see Wade speak, or James, or anyone, Cassidy or Craig, and you can like go to coffee at the Mac Lab later that day and just bump into them.
Yeah, and everybody's just kind of hanging out and
So welcoming and open to talk about what they love. And there's these themes that we all love and agree with, which are there, right? The environment, obviously women's rights, global warming, preserving these wild places that we all love to adventure to.
Well, speaking of which, our next clip, Sonny Trotter, local legend.
Yeah, another local legend.
We didn't have him confirmed for an interview. We kind of just ran into him.
Yeah.
And we're like, hey, man, would you like to come do an interview tomorrow? And he's like, sure. Super cool, super down to earth dude. Canmore local. Grew up in Ontario, but yeah, he's accomplished some pretty crazy stuff. Like,
Absolutely. I did pick up a copy of his book, which highlights 30 years of climbing, not only here in the Bow Valley, but kind of worldwide. The Cobra Crack, I believe, is what brought his claim to fame, being the first ascent on that, and multiple. If you don't know or haven't heard of Sonny Trotter, his name is brought up there with some of the world's best climbers, and has climbed amongst them. So big thanks to Sonny. Again, super down-to-earth guy. Like, we just kind of approached him. We saw him at a speaking event, and I knew who he was. I recognized him and was like, hey, would you be open to doing this? And he's like, just got to check if it works with the schedule. And then again, just bumped into him again the next day and was like, hey, like, we have this time. Can you make it? And he was super down.
Yeah.
And big thanks to Sonny for making the time. So let's get to the clip.
I suppose the overarching theme is really following your heart. You know, at the end of the day, like not putting a lot of weight on what other people think you should do with your life. It's listening very carefully to yourself. You know, there's references in there. Had I not, you know, most of my friends and my parents did want me, or were going and wanted me to go to college or university. I didn't want to go, and I skipped it so I could work and climb. And I figured I could always go back to school.
Yeah.
So that was like phase one. And then phase two was moving out west. It was really hard because I'm really close with my family, but I moved out west because that's where I needed to be to feel whole, I guess. And because of that commitment, I met my wife. And so, and she's like the next, like, you know, climbing's like basically my first love. And then she's this whole other chapter of my life. We've been together almost 20 years. And then because of my commitment to that journey, meeting my wife, and then having kids, I'm having this new level of commitment in life and experiences and everything. And so it's all stems from just following my heart from a teenage. And so I think ultimately that might be the main theme is, you know, it's not wrong to listen to other people's advice and take in as many, you know, perspectives as possible, but ultimately the decision has to come down to you and how you feel internally. And I think if there was one theme I think I could communicate to young readers, it would be that.
Amazing. Great advice, honestly. Maybe the big risk you took unknowingly was leaving Ontario and following your true passion in the first place, you know?
For me, for sure. Yeah.
absolute legend, dude.
A great conversation with Sonny. Again, we often think of climbing specifically as like forward-facing danger, as in, you know, falling off a ledge or missing a hold or whatnot. But yeah, very kind of, that was a pretty philosophical conversation in itself too. That yeah, the chances that we take in life sometimes are the ones that are the most meaningful. Maybe not the ones taken on rock, you know.
Right.
He had some great advice. And again, transitioning from like a top athlete to a writer, I think was a pretty cool topic of our conversation. Cause like, especially in climbing specifically, you're not going to last forever. Right. But transitioning out of that and being able to kind of be an inspiration and tell your story and still live your passion.
Well, it was pretty funny when we asked him about like how was writing the book for. He's like, I'm not a writer. So it was like, it was just, he's like, it's just a whole new experience, right? Like something that you don't think about. It's like, how do you translate this into an interesting and compelling story when you're, that's not your forte, you know what I mean? Like he's good on the rock. He's like you said, he's like, I'm good on the rock. Like not necessarily a world's top selling author, but yeah, he's absolute legend.
And the book reads very well, honestly. I picked up a copy, not being a climber. Once you learn a couple of the climbing specific terminologies, of course, understand it a little bit better. It is a great read, and it is available locally.
Yep.
So make sure you go pick yours up today. And yeah, if you ever see Sonny around, give him a high five because that dude's pretty awesome. Our final clip that we have for you today is with Lydia Brady. Now, this is another one that happened by chance. This interview came about. I was going to see some films that evening, or which one was it? It was.
Well, we didn't know that it was going to happen until I think it was after our second interview that day.
Yeah, it was a kind of a last minute thing. Lydia just kind of made the time. I caught her in between events. Basically, what happened? I think it was the Wade Davis talk, or I forget what the event was, but I was going to one of the theaters to watch, and as the theater's filling in, there's one spot that I loved. Like I just find my one spot in the
our little media corner.
Yeah. So it's just like comfortable. Anyways, I could see the whole screen. It's great. So I see the theater starting to fill, and then there's a spot beside me. It hasn't filled. Whatever, I get it. Maybe I'm a little intimidating, or maybe I'm not so welcoming. But someone walks up, and it's Lydia, and she sits down and starts striking up a conversation with me. And of course, I recognized her. She was part of the Joanna's talk, about mountaineering women in her book. So we start chatting, and she's curious about the podcast, and just so lovely, just a sweetheart. So we get to chatting, and I was like, hey, like, we'd love to do an episode if you have time. And she did. So let's cut to the clip, and we'll be right back with you.
So I was 15, and we were on the weekend was a long weekend, so it was 3 days, so we could get deeper into the mountains. And these are smaller mountains, but they're covered in snow in winter.
Yeah.
And they're in New Zealand, in the South Island, in the area called the Lewis Pass. And so there were two tramping clubs, and one was the powerful, strong tramping club, and one was the itty bitty, hick tramping club.
Okay.
Kind of. And we were camping in the same valley, and the snow fell, and we don't get a lot of snow falling in our valleys in New Zealand, so it was really thick snow, and then it cleared up, and the old guy, who was only probably about 45. The old guy who was looking after me said, tomorrow we've got to walk out. We can walk out down the valley, over the pass, and down the next valley, or we can join the Christchurch Tramping Club, the hardcore tramping club. We can go up to the top of the mountains and walk all the way along the ridge, all the way, and then just drop straight down to our cars. And with crampons and ice axe, we've got them. And I just was like, can we? Absolutely. So we went, and I was really scared. Oh, well, can I do it? And it'll be so hard, and I'll be so tired, la-di-da, all that kind of stuff. And then I get there, and as soon as I got onto the tops, so we call this a tops trip, TOPS, a tops trip. As soon as I got onto the tops, we're not in that crummy, dark, spooky valley, was darkness, and every time we came over a rise, there was a new view, and we only had one big up, and then the rest were little ups and downs all the time. Man, I just knew this is it. This is it. Tops trip.
A solidifying moment in your
solidifying,
life.
that's a great expression. Yeah. And in fact, then it expanded into transalpine trips, so where your tops are quite challenging. You go from ridge to ridge. So transalpine involve a lot of tops trips, if you like. And the ultimate transalpine trip that I would have liked to have done, which I thought about the the second time I went up Mount Everest, not the first, because I was on the edge on the first, was to traverse Mount Everest.
Wow.
And that would have been like, because I had the skills.
Yeah.
And there would have been some ropes there because I was guiding it and they were guiding it from both sides. And it would have been really good to say, okay, I've got you to the top now. Have a great day. And then just go. And then it would have the ropes would have been there. So it would have been unfolding itself and you would have been on your own or with someone, whatever. And you would have been going down, and going down is remarkably more easy at altitude than going up. You know, it's closer in difficulty at low altitude and further in difficulty away.
And why is that?
Well,
just the way the mountains are formed.
Hard going up. Yeah.
Such a funny attitude for someone that summited Mount Everest, just going like, oh yeah, going up is so hard. Like
going down, going down is easy. But
I realized during the clip that I didn't really give the backstory of Lydia. Lydia is the first woman to summit Mount Everest without supplemental oxygen.
Right. Which is insane.
It's insane. Also, when she did it, she was with a group of men from New Zealand that had a whole bunch of other summits planned. She decided to make the push without them.
Ah, okay.
They, without giving too much away, they went out to the media and claimed that she was lying.
Really? I didn't hear that.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah. So it took years and years for the record to be corrected and for her to finally be recognized for her accomplishments. That happened in 1986. So things were definitely a lot different back then. Obviously, gender roles. We dive into it in our full-length episode, so please go check it out. It is an incredible conversation with an incredible person.
Fair enough.
Did you know that the first woman to summit Mount Everest actually just lives in Canmore?
It's wild, eh?
That's
I know,
pretty crazy. So we hope to get her on eventually. She was actually speaking at the festival too. So incredible.
Well, Lydia was also featured in Joanna's book.
Yes, absolutely.
And we got to see her talk, and it's just so well spoken and so down to earth and chill. It's just
super cool.
Oh yeah, it's that's what I mean. It's awesome to see these people that have done these extraordinary things just be so down to earth and humble, and willing to sit down with us and shoot the shit for an hour.
Well, I think it goes to show that they are just normal people like us. That weren't none of these people that we spoke to during the festival ever took no for an answer.
Right.
Sonny's advice on following your dreams, Lydia's story in general of just, pushing past, societal norms, and we broached a lot of topics and we met a lot of great people. What was your favorite moment of the festival, Matt?
Oh man, that's tough. That's tough, man. James was awesome. I think Craig was just like such a chill guy.
Yeah.
I think he was probably one of my favorite dudes to hang out with. And then not just that. I mean, like just the vibe up there, just the lack of ego from anybody that's up there, just like the connection, like everybody's kind of up there for the same reasons, right? So it's super cool to just be bumping elbows with all these super creative or super talented people and just enjoy that kind of atmosphere, I guess, like the ego-free kind of just hang out. And I mean, it's just an awesome experience. If you've never been, get up there, get your tickets for next year, because it's just a vibe on its own that can't really be matched or I guess put into words easily, right?
For sure. I don't think I could pick a specific moment. Thanks for asking, Matt.
Sorry. Dan, what about you? What's your favorite moment?
I don't know. Honestly, the whole festival itself was kind of a great moment for us as a podcast,
right?
Of being like, I don't know, just at covering an event of such caliber and being the 50th anniversary, being such a big moment for not only the festival but for us as well, kind of as a show. Hard to pick one moment.
Only fitting that it's the 50th. It was the 50th anniversary, and our recap for the 50th anniversary is our 100th episode.
For sure. I thought that would be a little icing on the cake.
No doubt.
Anything you think we could do differently next time? What do you think? What do you think looking back, what would you have liked to have seen or done that we didn't do?
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I like. I don't know. I don't think there's anything more that I would have liked to do. I think we did a pretty solid job.
It's just tough to fit it all in during the festival. I wish we could somehow do the interviews way before so that we could just enjoy the festival.
I guess I didn't really get to see as many films as I would have liked to see.
Yeah.
Just based on we were busy, right? We had other stuff and obligations and interviews, and we got some pretty cool events for sure. Like, don't get me wrong, we saw some very cool events. But yeah, I guess more films next. I don't quote me. There was 87 films this year. Big shout out to Joe and her team that had to sift through what was it? Something 500, 600 applications or something like that.
It's a year-round process,
right? And narrow it down to 87 of the top films. Like, that's even to see all 87 would be an undertaking on its own, right?
I would agree with you there in the sense that so I watched a lot of the films online, which is tremendous. Like, getting to get home from work, pop open your laptop, stream it onto your TV at home, like with your own snacks and the comfort of your own home was great. Especially with Best Day Ever, kind of letting the waterworks fly a little bit more at home than you would in the theater. Kind of a different way to experience the films.
Right.
But yeah, I agree. I think I would have liked to have caught more of the premieres. It's just tough to organize time, right? But a big thanks to everyone that helped us organize, because
for sure
Banff Centre was phenomenal.
Big shout out to Jess. She lined up a bunch of our interviews and can't thank her enough.
Superstar. Big thanks to Carly, John, Derek, everyone that we've worked with throughout this experience. It's been truly amazing.
No doubt.
If you enjoyed the clips, go check out the full-length episodes. They're out now on all major platforms. Visually, if you like to watch, they're all on YouTube as well, accompanied with obviously us sitting around chatting.
Yeah.
If you like to listen, they are available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, pretty much anywhere that you can find a podcast. We're available. Make sure you search Overheard Podcast and give us a like and subscribe. Every little bit helps. We got plenty more in the works coming to you in the new year.
No doubt.
100 episodes in less than 2 years. So I was doing the math the other day, right? 56 weeks in a year.
52.
52?
Yeah.
I thought 52 weeks in a year. So, dude, we've missed less than we haven't really missed a lot of weeks in this, right?
No, I think we had a vacation each, and that was about it.
That's it. We stacked up a bunch of episodes. So we might take some time off coming in December here. Outside of the festival, Banff Centre has tons of great stuff for locals too. They have shows all year long. They have artist exhibitions and galleries and kind of markets happening all the time.
Right.
So make sure you give them a like and subscribe on their social
music
medias
events.
as well.
I got to DJ up at Club 33 a few months back. They've
Huge New Year's Eve party coming up.
I think so, yeah.
Huge New Year's Eve party coming up at the Mac Lab. So I've seen some ads for it actually already. So
nice. Let's go.
Go check out the entertainment. Big thank you to everyone who's tuned in. Honestly, the support at the festival was breathtaking.
It was wild.
People recognize this was kind of weird.
It was a bit weird for us because it's just weird to be up there. And I think we walked into one of the events that was going on, and someone was like, "Whoa!" And someone else looked at them and go, "Those are the media guys." It was pretty funny.
Yeah,
it was just it's
humbling.
Humbling, for sure, to have people that you never met before come up. Hey, you're the podcast guys. It was very cool. Can't thank the Banff Centre enough for having us up there. It was once in a lifetime.
Absolutely. We look forward to bringing you a lot more coverage, hopefully from Banff Centre in the future. Big thanks to all you guys for tuning in. Big thanks to Banff Centre. Big thanks to everyone we talked to. I don't know. Are we missing anyone? Who else can we thank?
Thank you, everybody that's tuned in for the last 100 episodes to watch me and Dan sit here and ramble on for hours and hours on end. And just thank you, everyone, for the support. It's been a wild 2 years. And thanks for sticking around for 100 of them.
Big time. We got plenty more on the way. Like every week. We'll see you next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday. Tuesday. We'll see you next 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 Tuesday. See you next Tuesday. We'll see you next Tuesday. We'll see you next Tuesday. I want to thank everyone that's tuned in, chatted with us, and taken part of this 50th anniversary of the Banff Centre Mountain Film and Book Festival. My name is Daniel Rudel. For the last time, we'll see you next Tuesday and all festival long.